What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Kicks and Picks podcast. I am back from my vacation last week, so I had to wear the Roma jersey this week because they got the 3 points, open the Gasparini era, unlike some people's tems on the show.
Ooh.
Looking at you there, Nick.
You're going to be looking at me a lot this year, unfortunately.
Como taking it to you there. Not unexpectedly, because the books did have them as the favorites. So
did say that's gonna be a tough match for Nick because he's been on the contrary popular Como pick train, and them picking up 3 points against his Lazio team to start the season is not exactly the momentum he needed to kick things into gear.
Easy opening fixture for Como. I don't know what my boy Sadi was thinking. First of all, playing Provedel, who's been terrible for 2 years, but I was told he had a good preseason. That was the logic behind putting him back in goal. But also just that midfield is terrible. I know midfield is a strength of Como's, and I know that's why a lot of people are high on them. Lazio's midfield is a fucking disaster. So I expect a lot of those looks from you guys this year, unfortunately.
Yeah. Scotty's boys made us sweat it out on Monday. We thought we had an easy plus money cash.
Whoa, no. Well, don't say we thought.
Well, Nick and I saw Liverpool plus money, and we said we're gonna hit that
absolute winner.
And they were up 2-0 and up a man, and then somehow managed to almost lose, not get the 3 points against Newcastle. Was a bit nerve wracking. I didn't get to watch the match, but just following on the live tracker was like, okay.
Tail of Liverpool's season so far. They get 2-0 leads, and then they blow them, and then somehow, well, twice now they've rescued him, but otherwise, it's not been the best of starts, even though they're sitting with perfect record to date. But we'll get into them in a little bit.
We'll get into that because they're the big match this week. They're our match of the week. So to start it off, let's get into some early season reactions. I mean, only one match week so far in Italy, 2 match weeks so far in the Premier League, so they're very early season reactions. Maybe you should say not just early season reactions, but. Premier League, when you look at the table early on here, you got Brighton in 1 point, Villa with 1 point, United with 1 point, and Newcastle United with 1 point. Those are teams that are accustomed to fighting for European places the last few years. Which one maybe has the most to worry about? Who is going to turn it around the most, do you think? And is, like, obviously none of them are going to be in danger of relegation this year. But, like, who's maybe looking at the biggest danger of, like, a bottom half finish?
Yeah,
I'll tell you, it's United because United have.
You have to specify which one.
Manchester United have the Nick Mush on them right now because in our season preview, I was like, oh, there's no way United aren't going to be way better than they were last year. They could potentially push for top 6. Yeah. Well, no, they fucking can't because they stink.
Yeah, I mean, Graham Potter has to write Ruben Amorim and Alexander Isak a massive check for great PR or lack of PR, because them sitting at the very bottom with no points, looking terrible, losing against Leeds in the first match of the season, that should be like the biggest headline for teams who are underperforming. Yet, the 2 clubs that are in the most turmoil are Newcastle United and Manchester United. Now, Newcastle United, you could make an argument that they're a little hard done based off of what's been going on in the transfer market. It's not really for a lack of trying. They're just relatively incompetent in terms of replacing forwards. This is even talking Alexander Isak. They've needed to bring in a forward since June with Callum Wilson leaving, and they've targeted 6 or 7 strikers and have not landed either of them. But Manchester United, I mean, credit to them for fooling us, because they go out and they spend £300 million on players, completely overhauled their attacking line, and they're just as bad as they were last year. It's at this point it has to be on Amorim. You can't be, churning out the same, not just the same results, but the same style of results. And shame on me, because since episode 1 of Kicks and Picks podcast, I have talked about how back 5 or back 3, however you want to call it, does not work in the Premier League.
Yep.
And that is Ruben Amorim's calling card. And when Liverpool were getting loosely linked with him after Klopp left, I was very nervous about that and had kind of talked myself into it before, obviously Liverpool pivoting to slot, thank God. And I think you're seeing why. Like, it's just not a formation, aside from when I think Thomas Tuchel did it with Chelsea, but that was with Reece James and Ben Chilwell playing like out of their minds for the first 4 or 5 months of the season. I just don't think it's going to be a style that will work, or at least get you into like a top 6, top half of the table type consistency of winning and getting points.
Very different from Serie A, because that's been like Conte's staple,
the
and
new go-to,
Gasparini's staple, and Inzaghi at Inter. So it just shows the difference in the league a little bit too.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I think it works. Like, it certainly can work. I just think for whatever reason in England, I've never really seen anybody do it successfully.
Dude, no, listen, I said at the jump of this season, last year I gave Amorim a lot of slack. It's like he looks like he is purposely tanking. He wants players gone. He wants, his players, new system, everything you're talking about, Scotty. But now, like every single game I've ever watched since he's taken over, like I don't think he was intentionally tanking. I think he just stinks.
Yeah,
like that's just kind of where I'm landing on it right now.
It's an inflexibility with tactics. Like, a lot of managers, if you come out, you're flat in the first half, they'll change things. And it's not just making substitutions. They'll change the tactics at halftime. He won't do that. He won't do that at halftime. He won't do that at full time. He won't do that in a month. He won't do that over an entire summer transfer window.
And like somehow, some way, Harry Maguire's still on the squad, right? And listen, I'm not here to joke about Harry Maguire. That's been done. That's 3 years old at this point. But he is somehow still prominently featuring for this team 4 years later.
Mm-hmm.
The Ligt is still on this team. That's more than likely because he's not valuable, so you can't really sell him for anything.
That's every Manchester United player.
Right. If this is the back line that these guys are going with and everybody else is like 12, Onana is got to be the worst goalie in the league. Like
traffic cone.
Man, what a highway robbery by Inter, right? He had that one pretty good season for them and they cashed in.
He's a free agent too.
It's not like he was young or a prospect. He was like 30 when he had that season. And United's like, okay, let's fucking bring this guy in. So yeah, disaster. They're out of the Carabao Cup. They lost to a third division fucking team today. Should have lost in regular time, according to what Scotty was telling us. I didn't see the game in real time. But I just don't think they're capable of fixing what they need to fix. There's too many teams in front. I know it's week 2. There's too many teams that are better than them in front of them already. Yeah. And that's a big problem.
They have no good choice. They have no good option forward at this point. If you fire Ruben Amorim, you've basically just gone through. At this point, it's the worst possible point to do it because you've just completed the summer transfer window. So if you do it now and you go and bring in another manager, it's too late for them to do anything to overhaul the squad or they're stuck with these players. Right. The only thing that they can do is not sell any of their players that they might turn a profit on because they're not fitting into a Amorim system. So that's a direct tie into Kobe Manu, who is, I think, one of their young midfield attacking players that has showed a lot of promise. And that's been kind of their, downfall. Like Scott McTominay, for example, like they had to go and sell him because they're going to get profit off of him. Didn't really fit into, the manager at the time's vision. Goes and starts having a great season, and it's too late now. You switch managers, you can't bring him back. So that's like the best option for them. Otherwise, you just have to keep letting Ruben Amorim go out there and maybe things turn around. But from his post-game conference today, it sounds like the players just don't care about him anymore, which is crazy because he's only been there for 10 months.
Lineup today,
is it even 10 months yet?
I think he came in November. Yeah, it's been like 10 months.
They started like a full-strength fuking lineup today. I mean, I don't know their preferred 11, but they started starters.
They would have been better off playing under 21s, honestly.
No question.
Straight up. But and then
I was going to just say, I think they do have a lot to worry about in comparison to some of these other sides. Like I think Brighton's expectations a little bit lower this year because they kind of came back down to earth last year. Villa, the defense has been great. One goal allowed right in 2 matches, but they're just not generating any goals. Even though like you look at the momentum chart from last week, like they outplayed Brentford for large portions of the match. They just can't score. Newcastle, I think, has had the toughest schedule of this bunch so far, right? You get the draw against Villa away, and then you go to play Liverpool, right? And that's playing the champ. So I think they obviously, like you said, they have their transfer issues, but I think if you want to make an argument about like strength of schedule so far, that's been the toughest road to navigate.
And look, and score the goals for them long term,
right? Long term, the player recruitment's going to be the problem for them.
I think I'll give my Newcastle United criticisms now, which I think will fall on some deaf ears, giving my position as a Liverpool fan. But, the Isak situation is a very hard thing for any club to handle. Like Liverpool's been through this before with Luis Suarez. They've been through it with Coutinho. Like it happens. Every club that's in that like upward trajectory has to handle a situation where they have a star player that is crucial to the success of their team that wants to go and take the next step in their journey. It sucks, but you have to handle it very carefully, or else you find yourself in the situation that Newcastle are in right now. I'm not saying they should have sold him right away. That's not the right thing to do. But you've basically let it control your entire summer to the point where you're now unprepared for the start of the season. You didn't really address all the issues that you needed to address outside of just replacing the backup striker. And now you're in crunch time where you have 2 or 3 days left in the summer transfer window. You probably are going to have to sell this player because he's really not budging, and you really can't risk just going into a season with a £100 million asset wasting away in his couch at his house, and not having the funds that he could have brought in to strengthen the team. And now with the immediate crisis they have, Anthony Gordon is playing center forward, not his position, picks up a red card, going to be out the next 3 games. You have Joe Ellington and Bruno Guimaraes and Sandro Tonali playing pretty much out of their shoes because of the emotion and adrenaline that was involved with that match, because there's this, Newcastle and Liverpool don't have like a traditional rivalry. I mean, they go back, to the early days of the Premier League, but it's not like a local derby. It's not like this Manchester United Liverpool thing, but it's kind of become this vitriolic,
the new jumpstart,
right. And with that emotion, Tonali picks up an injury. Seems like he's only going to be out a couple weeks, so he's going to miss this week, but with the international break coming up, he probably will be back in time for that. Joe Ellington picks up a hamstring injury. That one might be a little bit longer term, although it doesn't seem like it's the worst case scenario. Shara picks up, a concussion. And so this thin team that's going to have to compete on 2 fronts again for the second time in the last 3 years that we were already concerned about because we saw how poorly it went for them the first time is now even thinner. Right. And you got 3 days with a distressing asset waiting in the wings. It's a mess. They've really botched the summer. And again, it's a tough spot to be in to start with, but they really couldn't have done a worse job with it.
Yeah,
that's spot well put. So here's my hot take for the start of the season. After week 2, what would the odds have been for each one of the promoted teams to have a win? Like, that's insane to me.
Yeah.
That all 3 of those teams have a win already.
My theory would have said yes, because they always win their first home game. That's my theory. But
true.
I get your point.
And they all did.
Man, I thought about Sunderland too. I did think about them, and I didn't pull the trigger, and I regretted that because I had a feeling they were going to get it done. But
no, I mean, shout out to them. I think Forrest, Chris Wood picking up where he left off last year, I think is got to be feel good for them, and maybe give them a little belief that it wasn't just an aberration. 2 weeks in, but I didn't have high hopes for them this year. Scotty, you can talk me through the odds in a second. And I think Tottenham, I mean, their schedule is whatever, but they're picking up where they left off as well in terms of just playing a lot better. They haven't given up a goal yet. So that's like the most un-Tottenham thing in the history of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, made the managerial change too after Ange brought him that European trophy, and it was a little surprising, but so far so good.
Only team in England to score 2 or more goals in each of their matches and keep a clean sheet in both of their matches.
There you go.
Very results like from past seasons, right?
Wait till you see what I do with them this week. We're gonna see. Yeah. We're putting that to the test.
All right. Before we get there, should we go to Serie A?
Well, let's go through. So there's Nick kind of alluded to what I was going to get to. So I just took a look. Given the teams that we have in the bottom half of this table right now, in the bottom 5, I just wanted to take a quick look at what the relegation futures we're looking at. Not a whole lot of movement as you'd expect for some of these newly promoted teams like Sunderland and Burnley, still sitting at minus 280 for Burnley, minus 165 for Sunderland. Then you get West Ham at plus 150, which I get. No points so far, have looked pretty woeful. I think Graham Potter is going to be on his way out sooner rather than later, and whoever comes in is going to be what determines this bet. So I wouldn't place this right now. I think, you got to see who that next manager will be. Wolves at plus 160, that's fair. Especially if they lose Strand Larson to Newcastle. I think that's probably going to get figured out in the next 24 hours. So if he goes off, there's no way that they're going to get a replacement in, even with the 65 million pounds that they're likely going to get for him. But Leeds United sitting there at plus 225.
Yeah, that's a
they just got smacked 5-0 by Arsenal. Now I get it. It's Arsenal. They're on top of the table, but 5-0. They showed nothing whatsoever in terms of ability going forward, ability to defend, sit in a low block, what have you. Daniel Farke is also one of those guys that's being talked about as being on the hot seat. So he might be on his way out. Who knows what Leeds is going to bring in for a manager? I don't think, you're going to get a Postecoglou or similar that maybe a Manchester United type club could have hope for. So I don't mind throwing plus 225 in my futures pocket right now. That's a decent one to sit on, especially for of the newly promoted clubs. They're sitting the lowest in the table. So if you think one of these clubs right now is going to, at least one, if not two plus, is going to go back down, Leeds at plus 225 is a good bet.
So what I'll say, there's 8 teams currently below them in the standings, not including the teams level with them. 8 teams that have less points than they do. They're significantly worse than 6 of those 8 teams. So like,
yeah.
I'm kind of with you just on principle, regardless of what else happens. Brighton, Villa, United, Newcastle, Palace, probably Fulham are better than them. They just are.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, get this. You could parlay them with Pisa, who I think is the most likely team to get relegated in Serie A, either them or Cremonese, and you're looking at plus 450 on DraftKings.
Yeah, get creative with it.
If you like Leeds to go down, I think you pick a team that you are fairly certain is going to go down in another league, and you can really get nice value. And
I'm just interested to see, because the Leeds did this for us the last time they were in the Premier League. They scored a lot and they gave up a lot. They kind of did it in the Championship. You know, I know there was some like Friday games that we were just getting down on for the sake of having some action. I'm interested to see if they can score enough goals in the Premier League to at least be an easy overs team the way they used to be. Because they were like the original easy overs team. I just don't know if they have it in them to score the goals.
Yeah, it's a different makeup on that front line now. I'm not super keen on them being an easy overs club unless their defense is just shambles.
I of the 3 relegation side or promotion sides, I kind of like Sunderland the best to stay up. I think you bring in a player like Xhaka who's got that experience. Like I think they've
spent like the 5th most in England.
Yeah.
Just like, top level in terms of incoming. So they're trying at the very least. And look, they got the stadium revenue to do it. That's the biggest issue with some of these newly promoted clubs with FFP and everything. You need to have stadium revenue.
Watt, bro?
That's Burnley.
That's Burnley. Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
that's what you're talking about.
No, I was talking about Sunderland. Sunderland's got the big stadium. Burnley, Turf Moor is fine.
Sunderland also has the Netflix special.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Prime. Was it Netflix or Prime?
It was Netflix. They were Netflix for a couple seasons. It was pretty good. And then you get the derby with Newcastle, right?
Yeah. That'll be interesting.
That'll be because that hasn't happened for a few years because of the
that'll be interesting.
Up and down of the two clubs. That'll be interesting. Yeah. All right, Serie A. Only one match day played so far, but some of the results were interesting, especially for the big sides. So we had opening the day, the weekend, early on Saturday. Napoli got the job done against Sassuolo, 2-0, very easy. Cremonese upsetting Milan at the San Siro was a big result on match day 1. Beautiful overhead kick by Bonazzoli to seal the deal. But even if he didn't score that goal, you're still looking at a drop points for Milan, right? Probably gonna be up there for goal of the season, honestly. Roma got the job done against Gasperini, with Gasperini in charge against Bologna. 1-0. Could have been a lot more. That was my only gripe with that performance. They played really well. Fiorentina, late draw on Saturday in the early matches, which early right now is like noon Eastern, but blew it against Cagliari. Blew a couple bets for Nick and I. Como beat Lazio 2-0 up in the Lake region. Atalanta drew Pisa. Okay, so that's a side we said is a big fade this year is Atalanta with the Juric in charge, showing it right away. Juve beat Parma 2-0. Inter hammered Torino on Monday, 5-0. Absolutely hammered them.
Kivu ball is here, many are saying.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think anybody's saying that. I think Torino's just that bad.
I was gonna say I don't know how much Torino's regressed since last season.
They're really bad.
But so who good for Napoli and Inter.
Who took over for Torino? I should know this, and I don't.
Your boy, Baroni.
Oh, well, say less.
There you go.
Okay, it's all starting to make sense. Here's what I'll say about my reactions.
Yeah.
Like, do as I preach, not as I do. I don't know if this how a saying like that would go, but I came on here and I absolutely preached. Underdogs are ripe in the first couple of weeks of the year. Underdogs are going to look good, especially in Italy. These matchups are lopsided.
Mm-hmm.
Do what you got to do. And I went out and pretty much bet the opposite of what I said to do, what I say to do every season at the beginning of the year. And I took the favorites that were like, oh, this number is fucking good. What are you kidding me?
Some of the numbers were good on the favorites. Yeah.
And here we are. So if you listened to what I told you to do, you had a really good weekend. If you followed my bets that I gave out, I owe you some money. But I'm not overly surprised with a Milan result is really the only surprising result. Expected better of them, and I expected Cremonese to be terrible. So that's really kind of the shock result of the weekend. A lot of the teams drawing doesn't really surprise me, because that's just the way, a team like Pisa is going to have to come and grind out 1 point, point by point. So stuff like that happening doesn't really surprise me.
I think the Milan one is the biggest one, especially because they were at home and then lost to a newly promoted side, a Milan side that was expected to improve, right? And not saying they're not going to improve, but the fact that they did that at home against Cremonese of all sides, it was the biggest surprise to me. On the opposite end of the spectrum, I figured Inter would be good again, right? I think they're going to be competing with Napoli up there near the top of the table, but they poured it on. I didn't know how much of a transition they would need under Kivu. This was a quick reaction. Now we get them and Juve right after the international break. That maybe will tell us a little bit more, right?
100%.
About both sides.
And we know Thuram scores like in bunches early on in the year. He's done this for 3 straight years.
Yeah, Juve getting a 2-0 win against Parma. Parma, we'll see. They sold Boni and a couple other players, right? So we're not sure what's going on with them. I think they sold Man too.
They're not going to be good.
I remember right. So like win at home is expected. I think the Fiorentina one is a bad result for them just because they gave it up so late.
Terrible.
I think that was what was bad about them not getting all the points against Cagliari, because Cagliari is tough to play at sometimes.
Definitely.
I've seen it with Roma through the years, but when you're up and you give it up in the 90th minute,
and you know what? That's bad. Another team I talked about that I thought they had the potential to be relegated. I thought the number on them was really good. Their lineup is better than some of these other teams that I've seen. So Udinese
they're not a big team, but me and you were on them on Monday early afternoon, and they blew it late to Verona, another one. So it was a tough opening weekend of betting in Serie A. Luckily, Roma came through for me. That was like, I wasn't on here to give it out, but I would have given them out plus money. They got the job done.
We gave it out on your behalf. Don't worry.
So we'll see what happens in round 2. It gets crazy because then you get the international break, but it's going to be another weekend of no real big matchups. It's going to be, let's see who slips up against one of these smaller sides again in Serie A. We'll get to those picks in a bit. So I guess let's kick it off with our match of the week. Usually we feature 3-4 matches. This week, not a lot of big ones, but we do have one big one, and that is Liverpool and Arsenal. So, Scotty, your boys.
Yeah.
Big one for them. Let me just get this slide pulled up.
You want to go first, or you want me to jump in?
I mean, listen, I can kind of give you. Yeah, let me go first. I'll give you kind of a rundown of where Liverpool sit right now. I'll give this the state of the union. Right. So Liverpool's 4th real match of this year, right? They've had 3 matches, kind of Community Shield, in the first 2 opening matches of the Premier League so far. All 3 games, they've gotten a 2-0 lead and watched that disappear in the second half in a heartbeat. So now coming in Arsenal, I think if you told me Liverpool had 6 points in the first 3 matches going into international break, I'd be fine with it. Just looking at the fixture list. Away at Newcastle, home Arsenal, challenging nonetheless. 7 points would be happy. 9 would be thrilled. So they're at 6. I think whatever they get, if anything from this, is gravy. With that said, having a home fixture against probably a direct rival for the title this season, you need to get at least a point. So my concern is, I think they have the offensive game going right now. Hugo Ekitike seems to be the real deal. Has scored in all 3 of his matches. Salah has assisted in pretty much every match so far. Chiesa's been able to come off the bench and contribute. And Gamoa had that great goal against Newcastle. Gakpo has been decent. He hasn't been clinical as he has in months past, but he's been good. So everything is clicking, but that's far from telling a perfect picture of where Liverpool are, because they have a Konate-sized hole in the back line where I don't know if he's just ready to go to Real Madrid now and it's going to check out for the season. If he thinks he's actually going to get a move this summer, not entirely sure, but he's been terrible next to Van Dijk. I think Van Dijk has played really well, but Konate's, lack of care or ability has kind of made it a lot worse for him. And luckily with Alisson in goal, it's kind of stopped the bleeding. I think we talked a little bit last week with Michael Scott, but I don't think Wirtz is fully settled in yet. I think it's going to take him. It seems like it's going to take him probably a couple months, not a couple of matches, to kind of get up to speed with Liverpool, with the Premier League, with whatever. He's been a passenger for for most of the games so far. I think Liverpool playing without Szoboszlai in that position, who's an engine and just doesn't stop running, and had a great match playing in right back of all places against Newcastle. I think Liverpool are struggling in the midfield aspect without him there. And we have yet to see Gravenberch and McAllister play together. I don't know if McAllister will be ready for this match. He has this, unconfirmed injury right now. We knew he was struggling during the summer, tried to rest his hamstrings.
Alone?
He's not home alone. So yeah, I'm unclear if he's going to play in this one. So I think those are my biggest areas of concern right now. Konate not playing well. Wirtz has not really settled in yet. Liverpool midfield very much lacking and has been outplayed in pretty much every match they've been in, except for maybe Bournemouth at home.
So here's before I get into this game, here's my question, and I'm going to piss off some of our listeners, but it's an honest question. I don't mean historically. I don't mean size of the club globally or anything like that. The year 2025, how much of a step up is Real Madrid from Liverpool? Or is it a step up? Because what is the allure to that move? What aren't you getting at Liverpool in the Premier League versus going to Real Madrid and not winning the last year and a half? Honestly.
The honest answer I can give you is when they had the branding of the Galacticos, whatever it was, 15, 20, I don't even know how many. It feels like it's not been that long, but I think it's like 15, 20 years.
20, because when they tried to get Totti, I think it was right when I first started watching Roma.
When they got that branding, and then there's been an era of players that have grown up with that branding, it's almost like getting to Real Madrid, you are in the top 11 of the world, right? Like you are the best at your position in the world. That's kind of what the branding has said. Whether or not that's true remains to be seen. I mean, obviously they have plenty of top players at their position.
No question.
But that's it. It's purely ego.
Leagues, right? I'm not saying that, but I just mean from a pure footballing standpoint, a project standpoint.
Correct.
You're not elevating yourself from a playing standpoint by going to Real Madrid versus being at Liverpool.
Well, I think, Nick, it's similar in American sports to being like the Yankees or the Cowboys, right? The name carries that allure. Even though the Yankees haven't won a World Series since 2009 or the Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl since we were kids, right? Like they go off of name brand. And not that Real Madrid I'm comparing in terms of titles because they win more often.
Yeah, listen.
I get what you're saying, right?
I'm just trying to say, if you're at Nottingham Forest, if you're at Bournemouth, if you're at, I don't know, Bayer Leverkusen, if you're stepping up to Real Madrid, I understand that. But I think Liverpool, Arsenal at this point, City, an Inter, Bayern Munich, it's a lateral move. There's nothing other than saying I want to play at Real Madrid. That's all I'm trying to say.
It's an ego play. You get the cachet of saying I was the starting whatever position you play in at Real Madrid for these seasons.
Yeah,
that's it.
Anyway, so that's where I'm at on that. It was just interesting the way you brought it up. I could realistically go either way with this game. I think it's a fascinating game to look at. It's going to be a fascinating game to bet. It's great, and it sucks that it's early in the season. Spoke about it last week on the show, and Steve wasn't on, but he agreed with when I said it to him. I have a rule. You get Liverpool at plus money. You take Liverpool at plus money. They're at home. The odds suggest Liverpool win this game. That's just the way I would look at it. If I didn't know anything about either team, I'd say, okay, I got to evenly match teams both at the top of the table. Liverpool is a decently heavy favorite. They're winning this game. What I would look to bet, quite honestly, the draw looks solid to me at plus 250. I just really could see that happening. I think both teams would be okay with it, as Scotty kind of pointed out. I'm always a little weary about the over in a heavyweight matchup like this, but I think it's probably warranted because, as everything Scotty said, they've scored 2 and they've given up 2. So Arsenal team total at plus 150 doesn't look bad to me, just with how Liverpool has been playing on defense. So I think there's a lot of ways to approach it. Would not shock me to see a 2-2 game. Wouldn't shock me to see a 3-3 game.
Nick, can I back it up for you with stats?
Please.
Last season, 2 Premier League matchups. Do you know what the final score was of both of those matchups?
2-2.
2-2.
There you go.
I think I was shocked when I put this slide together and saw that the over 2.5 was minus 135 still.
Yeah.
Based on the amount of times these teams are scoring recently and the way Liverpool's conceding goals. Usually if the home team has a good defense, you're more likely to get the under, I feel like, because, the away team's going to play a little more conservatively, right? Arsenal is going to go into this feeling they can hit Liverpool because they've seen Liverpool concede 2 goals to Palace, 2 goals to Bournemouth, and then 2 goals to Newcastle down a man. So they know with an attack that they have, that they've put together, and they can go at them.
Even more so, Liverpool conceding goals coming off of set pieces. Where does Arsenal score goals? Set pieces. Yeah. So it's ripe for Arsenal to get goals. So
little 2-2 correct score plus 900. 3-3 correct score if you want to get crazy plus 3,000. Just
yeah. I mean, I love both team totals here, especially the Arsenal one, just because the number that they're getting, right? Plus 150 is hard to pass up, and I think the over 2.5 is almost a must play here, just based on the last couple seasons, right?
Well, I'll go one step further for you,
Premier League, and they've combined
Coach.
for 4.
11 of the last 12 matchups between these two teams, where Liverpool were the home team, the over 3.5 has hit. Over 3, if you want to take that, is sitting there at plus 120.
Yeah.
I would be happily take over 3 in this, because if Liverpool are going to have a chance, they're going to need to score 2 goals. I think Arsenal will score. They're going to get at least 1 off a set piece. They have Etse now that's going to come in. He'll probably be playing off the bench, which is going to be crazy because Liverpool don't have depth right now. They've sold 9 players. They brought in 5 great players, but that depth we can see at the end of games is really impacting them. So I think, if Liverpool are going to have a chance, it's going to be a high scoring game at home. Fans will be ripping for this one. So I think it'll be a good one for neutrals for sure. It's going to probably kill me on Sunday at 11:30 a.m., which is not going to be fun. But gun to my head, I genuinely think draw makes a lot of sense here, because it's a draw suits both teams. This early in the season, if Arsenal can come in and they leave Anfield with a point, that is a victory for them. It's like, hey, we've got advantage. They have to come to us in the second half of the season. So if it's close, we'll have the numbers on there. Liverpool, with the way that they're playing, the lack of depth they have right now, because I think they're still going to bring in at least 1 or 2 more players before the end of the window. With the crazy matches that they've had already, if they hold level here and just get a point, they go into international break with 7 points, let their players kind of regroup, I think they'd consider that a win as well.
No, I mean, again, said it. First thing that drew to me was the draw. SSB, our boy here, just joined a little bit after I said it. He thinks the draw is there. It makes a lot of sense. So could totally see it happening. Here's my thing about Arsenal, and there was another good point you brought up, that they're a little bit shorthanded, but we'll see. My thing through 2 games is I have a pretty decent sense of who Liverpool is and what their growing pains are. I still don't know anything about Arsenal. Thought I might have, but I don't, because they beat a terrible United and they beat a terrible Leeds team. So that doesn't impress me. I mean, are they happy that they scored 5 goals last game? They haven't conceded a goal yet. Is that a boost coming in? It might be, but
to some extent.
Let's see what happens now that they face a real test in a hostile environment.
Yeah. And if you like both teams to score over 2.5, where even someone's going to win this match 2-1, plus 135, solid number 2.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways to go about it. And when player props are out closer to, I'm interested to see where things land.
I thought I saw goal score numbers.
I just see score assist on DraftKings right now.
No, I didn't see anything on Hard Rock.
Plus 135, I might have clicked the wrong game. Hold on. Both teams to score and over 2.5 is even money in this match. I'm sorry, I hit the wrong.
Yeah, that's actually a good one too.
But that's solid too at even money.
Yeah.
Goal score props are out on DraftKings. Salah minus 105, at Takite plus 120, Giorgis plus 125. So the numbers aren't great on the goal scorers.
No,
somehow Chiesa is plus 185, but some of the players like Martinelli are plus 195. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Scored his 1 goal in there, under plus 200. But the goal score numbers aren't great here. I think the players are more with like total goals and both teams to score and things like that. But I agree with you guys. I think goals are the play here, especially if you can lock them in early in the week now before they start to move a little bit. Right.
Man, if Arsenal loses, do they like start spiraling? I don't know.
No,
That's
I
what
don't think
that's
it's.
what I'm hoping for.
No,
come on, guys,
I mean
let me have
they're
it.
playing.
Let
They're
me have
playing.
it.
They're playing with house money, right? You don't really. I don't think.
No.
Not to sound arrogant, I don't think any team comes to Anfield and expects to leave with 3 points. I think they're happy with 3 points. A lot of them will be happy with 1 point. So for them, this is kind of like house money. They get this fixture out of the way going into international break, so it's not going to carry negative momentum over. Like it's really like the perfect setup for Arsenal in this scenario.
They had a favorable schedule for their narrative early on in the year.
Yeah, any result is great for them here. Any positive result. All right. So shall we kick it around the rest of the Premier League quick? Any bets we like, and then we can go over to Italy.
Yeah, I got a few that I like.
Yeah, I think Nick and I are on the same one with Tottenham, the other team that's sitting with a perfect 2 wins and 2 matches.
Yeah, listen, a little bit chalky, but minus 140 at home. I think I saw minus 130, so definitely shop around. But
jumped out at me too.
I think you got to take it in the form that they're in.
Yeah, I mean, I would go one step further. That and over 1.5 is minus 110. I think with the way that they're scoring, that should be pretty easy. I don't see them getting a 1-0 win in this game.
Yeah, I dig that.
Yeah, and Bournemouth, they lost most of their defense too.
Yeah. Well, their last road match, there were 6 goals, right? Yeah. It was against Liverpool. So I think Tottenham should have no problem getting 2 or 3 in this.
Yep.
Yeah, that was definitely jumped out.
Here's another one that I like that's not going to make any sense until it does. Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, both teams to score is minus 115. Villa have not scored a goal yet this year. I just can't imagine they go 3 games without scoring a goal. They're at home. Got to get one at Palace. I think they give one up, but minus 115, I wasn't expecting that number when I looked at it.
Yeah, I mean, Palace, credit to them. Their midfield has been holding strong. Obviously they lost Etse, but it seems like they're going to hold on to Wharton at the very least, who's been great for them as kind of like the engine. Mark Gueye might be going to Liverpool, might not be. If he sticks around, he's probably a starting center back for England during the World Cup qualifiers this coming up international break. So, but yeah, Aston Villa should be due. You'd think that they'll get at least a goal in this one. I think that's fair. So. At home at the very least.
And then I got one more.
I think,
all right, don't take mine.
Is it City?
No. Yeah, mine is City minus 120 at Brighton.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that's easy. I think City bounced back. Yeah, they looked like shit against Tottenham, but they always click shit against Tottenham. So I think this is a big bounce back for them. Should be a pretty easy win against the Brighton team. That's
we talked about
disappointing.
It, right? Yeah.
Disappointing so far.
And I think that line is favorable for us because of how shitty they looked against Spurs. Probably right. You don't get that line if they get a result against Spurs. You probably much chalkier. So I think you got to take anytime. It's almost similar to you get Liverpool plus money, you're going to take them, right? I think City close to even money, you're going to take them against a team that's struggling.
Absolutely. All right. So I told you guys about Villa who haven't scored. There's one other team in the Premier League that hasn't scored through 2 matches. Would you like to know who it is?
Another team that has not scored, West Ham?
Close. Wolves.
Yeah.
You got it.
Everton Larson's back.
Maybe. Everton are sitting at plus 185 against Wolves. Yeah,
that's fine.
I have to take Everton at plus 185 in this game.
Yeah, Strand Larson
plus
leaves.
190. It's up to 190, Nick.
Even better. Yeah. I move lines with my mind. I'm like Professor X over here.
Yeah. My last pick, it's purely based off of today. Are we not taking Burnley plus a goal and a half at minus 130 at United?
Sure. Why not? What has United done to...
Yeah. Are we not going to do that?
I don't feel good, right?
I don't even think Amorim knows he's playing Burnley. He couldn't name them in his post game. So I think Burnley got a result, right? They beat Sunderland. Was that who they beat this weekend? Yeah, they beat Sunderland at home.
So.
Picked up a couple goals.
Burnley to score a goal is minus 130.
Yeah.
Sure.
Fucking Crestfield Grimsley United scored fucking 3 goals today. Who they play against?
Grimsley Town.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah. You think JJ Watt's team can't fucking
score a goal against Onana? Is that what you're saying?
3 of us could fucking score on Onana. That might go down in history as the best piece of transfer business in fucking goalkeeper history. Is
Broha their starting striker, Burnley? Because he's got the shortest odds on their team at plus.
If he's healthy, I mean that dude, he's never.
Yeah,
that's his problem.
I mean, check lineups, but if you think their striker's gonna score, just pick out whoever's starting at striker because he's got the shortest odds at plus 425.
Lyle Foster's been starting up top for them. So, yeah.
Well, Lyle Foster, I don't know if he has scored yet, is at plus 400. Okay, he's at plus 400. They're out of order here on DraftKings. So plus 400 is their shortest odds for a goal scorer. If you want to play a little lotto on a Burnley goal scorer.
All right. Kick it to Italy.
Let's do it. Is there a match you want to talk about, or do you just want to talk through plays?
I would love to chat Como Bologna if we could, because I feel like this game low key is kind of a separator of contender pretender for European competition this season. I know
think this is big for Como.
I think it is big for Como. I think if they can win this game, the Como hypers will have a feather in their cap, and the Como doubters named Nick Diani will have some crow on their plate to eat during international break.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they beat Lazio, right? Now they're going to Bologna. Bologna had a couple injuries. They had lost their 2 ex-Lazio players, Immobile and Casale, to injury in the match against Rome in the first half. So you lose a center back, you lose the guy you signed to be your striker. It's definitely going to be a tricky matchup. I mean, Bologna's been really good the last 2 years, but
Como is sitting there at draw no bet at plus 110.
So
I think that's a good number. Solid.
That would be my counterpoint. If you, based on everything you guys just said, based on their performances last week, wouldn't you expect hipster Como to be a favorite or much closer to even with Bologna?
I think it's just
the
home team boost.
I think it's the home team getting.
You think it's that big of a discrepancy?
I do.
I don't know. This is like a classic follow the odds game. Now that, like, Bologna would be my pick just based on the odds that I see. But what you guys are saying is correct. I mean, I don't think Bologna looked very good against Roma. I think that's more of Roma being a better team. I don't think there's a doubt in my mind, but like that midfield is non-existent. And like I kind of said against Lazio, like Como's midfield is their strength. So I'm definitely worrisome about what Bologna are going to give. This, like you said, I think it's a really big measuring stick game. This is a game where a draw wouldn't surprise me either. It's only plus 225.
Yeah. And the under is the trending number on the betting lines, right? The over is plus, I think it was 125 when I looked just a minute ago. So
yeah. I mean, man, if you like Como to do it, plus 200 to get 2 goals.
Yeah.
I'd almost rather go with that than a win.
Yeah.
Last year,
Nico Paz to score or assist is plus 170. If they're getting 2 goals, how are they doing it without Nico Paz?
They're not.
Yeah. Nico Paz, goal or assist plus 170 is a big number on him. I mean, he scored a great free kick. He's taking free kicks. If they get a PK, he's probably taking it, right? And then he's also will provide service for some guys. So last year, head-to-head, these 2 teams played. You had a 2-2 at Como, 2-0 at Bologna, favoring Bologna, but Como got red carded after it was 1-0, so probably didn't have much going forward. But
was that a Nico Paz red card?
No, I don't believe it was. I just saw it. Where was it? It was Federa. For
I'll also give you
got a yellow
guys
card, and then Argument got a red card immediately in the same minute. So must have been something stupid he said.
My man, been there.
But yeah, Bologna, lost Ndoye, right, to Forest.
Yep.
They've lost pieces, and they did. I can say, because I've watched plenty of Roma matches where 1-0 feels very iffy throughout the match. Like, even though Roma never put that second goal in, I never felt like it was slipping away. Like, you watched it, Nick, from more of a neutral perspective. Like, they never really threatened.
No, I mean, Orsolini had a couple of moments where he was pretty much the only guy that was ever going to do anything, but every shot that he took, I think, was right at the goalie.
Yeah.
So, now, Bologna hit a post late in the game, didn't they?
Did they get
Didn't Castro hit the post pretty late?
Maybe, or just wide.
I'm pretty sure.
I know Cristante hit the post on the corner kick early for Roma,
but in any case, no, I agree. I don't think that result was ever in doubt.
Yeah. Yeah, so it'll be interesting because Bologna and Atalanta the last 2 seasons have been teams that have been right stuck in there in the European place conversation. And if they both regress, especially with Bologna with these couple injuries early in the season, I think it opens up big time for Como to be a top 7 side.
I almost want to see them be in that top 3, 4, 5, 6 position and then drop out of it rather than never be in it at all. That's the hate arc that I'm going with this year.
And part of the reason why is I don't think there's anybody outside of those traditional 7 teams plus like Atalanta and Bologna that have any chance. And I don't think Lazio is very good. You'd agree. They have transfer restrictions, and then you
get your Lazio bottom 10 bets in now. That's my advice.
Only they were available here in the U.S., we'd be able to fade them like we talked about Newcastle in the Premier League episode. But yeah, that's the most intriguing matchup on paper.
Yeah, I mean, Italy just, I don't know if they just saw the international break coming up and are like, now we're not going to waste any of our,
let's not waste any
the
good
weekend we get
matches.
back, we got all of them, all right? We got, I think, 3 or 4 high tier or top tier matches right when we get back from break. But
so man, I got some spots to take a chance here.
No, you can take some
where
chances.
Do you want to
Go for it.
Take some shots here? Because there are value plays here.
Sassuolo plus 220 on the money line is a fat number against Cremonese, who I don't think are any better than them. I'm not saying I don't think Sassuolo is great, but I don't think Cremonese should be a massive favorite to anybody. Yep. I think they're getting a boost from that result against Milan last week. Agreed. They're due for a letdown.
I was going to ask you about that because that number jumped out at me. I got plus 235 on Sassuolo here on DraftKings.
Even fucking better.
That is the Friday 12:30 Eastern match. If you want a little early Friday action before
can't gamble all weekend if you don't start on Friday, people.
Yeah. And the same day you got Lecce hosting Milan. Milan's minus 150 on the road.
That's okay. I'm not touching Milan.
That's not a good enough number to take.
We'll see if Lecce can do something to trip them up there because every once in a while those teams are tricky. Go down
the
south.
spread's not even good enough to take a shot on Lecce because I think it's like 3/4 of a goal.
Yeah,
it's not doing it for me. Atalanta plus money on the road. I mean, that how against Parma.
I was going to go the opposite. I don't know.
Well, I'm not saying I'm taking. I'm just saying how times have changed, right?
Oh yeah.
Because I think anytime you've seen that in the last 2 or 3 years, it'd be all over it.
I just don't think Parma are going to be very good
either.
So it's almost a get right spot. I mean, if anybody wants to skip this game, good to do it. But how does Atalanta not get a fucking result?
Yeah, tough times.
Just player for player, they're head and shoulders above Parma. So I don't
know. The other Saturday match, Napoli's a big favorite against Cagliari. I even looked at parlaying them with Inter, and it's still minus 145. You can't even parlay the two of them.
No, dude, why don't you parlay them with your boys plus 110?
Well, I was gonna say Roma at minus 145 is a little chalky at Pisa, but I think it's still playable. Or if you go minus 3/4 of a goal, do a little Saturday afternoon parlay.
Plus 118 to parlay those two.
Yeah, even better.
I mean, would it shock me if Roma slips up after playing so well against Bologna? No, based on my history as a Roma fan, but I think that's a great opportunity to find some value. You go minus 3/4 of a goal at minus 105 as well.
I would love to put some money on Roma this weekend and see how that plays out for me.
Hopefully they make you some money. I wish the goal scorer numbers were out because
DraftKings slacking today.
Yeah, they only got the goal or assist numbers up, and that's not really helping us.
Move to Sunday because I got the play of the weekend for anybody that is so interested.
Yeah.
Juve money line
at Genoa?
Absolutely. Yeah, Juve minus 120. Oh, minus 115.
Yeah, we got minus 115
against Genoa. Genoa fucking stink. There's no way that Juve don't fucking take them to the woodshed. I think of what you want about Juve. I don't think they're anything special. They're way better than Genoa. And that number just can't be ignored.
Yeah, this line is crazy enough to make me go draw line. That's where I go. I'm like,
I would love it. I think Juve gets the result.
Juve, no question, get if they're struggling, get an
85th minute winner. Yeah.
No question.
How many draws they had last year again? They had 16, 17 draws last year?
Yeah, that was Mota though.
Yeah, multiple.
That was the Mota special.
No, yeah, because Tudor is so much better.
Going back to Roma for just a second, I just was looking while we were talking about Juve. Team total for Roma is minus 125.
Saw that, but I got to see it from them.
That's also a solid number.
Is Ferguson going to get a goal, or will he just have 9 shots?
I sure thought he was going to get me one. I had him at plus 300 with one of those goal scorer boosts last week. I really thought he was going to get us one. He came close a couple times.
About 5 shots directly at the fucking goalie.
Yeah.
Or Cellini, some might say.
Yes, exactly like. No, I think Juve is my favorite play of the weekend. It kills me to say that. I think Fiorentina are primed for a bounce back of their disappointing result against Torino, plus 130. Those two plays are really, really solid.
Yeah, I think those are both solid. Fiorentina needs to win, right? You can't not get a win again. I know you're going on the road, but to go into the international break with 1 or 0 points would be disappointing for them.
If you're Fiorentina, you can't go 5 points below Como. That's just not doable. You can't do it.
Yeah, no, I mean, even after 2 match weeks, it'll be interesting to see who's keeping pace with Napoli and Inter, because I expect both those teams to win.
Yep.
Roma should, and then who else is going to get results and just kind of go comfortably into the international break, I think is a big question. Italy. Lazio minus 230, Nick.
That's okay.
Verona's plus 550 against them.
That's.
Are Lazio gonna bag a bunch of goals again? Because
that's got to be like an easy overmatch, right?
Over 2.5 is plus 120.
I was just gonna say like that's like it feels like an overmatch.
They have 1 goal between them and 3 goals in total in the 2 games between them. I don't know. Maybe
feels like if they're gonna start clicking.
No, 4 goals between the 2 of them, right? I mean, goals conceded. You're saying 3 goals conceded between the 2 of them.
Oh yeah, Hellas drew. I'm sorry, 1-1. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if Lazio loses that bottom 10 ticket might be a sure thing.
Let's see. Total. I mean, -1. I've seen worse bets. I don't know. I just nothing inspires me from that team. I have to see them pick up 3 before I can give you any lean.
Yeah. So not the greatest slates heading into the international break, but when we come back after the break, we're gonna have Fiorentina, Napoli, Juve, Inter in Serie A. We're gonna have, I think, the Manchester Derby in the Premier League, so we'll have plenty to talk about when we get back.
Will Amorim make that game? Will he make it out of that game?
Man, if he loses this weekend, right? Like after Grimsby Town.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally the worst of any manager in the last 40 years for United, which is crazy because United have not been known for good managers since Ferguson.
Yeah, since Ferguson.
And they're actually coming up against like sell to buy kind of restrictions with PSR. Like they just brought in a bunch of kids. They're in a predicament because they also have a huge.
They're going to sell Garnacho for 50 million, right?
40 million, yeah. But you know, it's a dent in what they've done already in terms of spending.
Fucking A.
And they need a goalie. How much is a good goalie going to cost? Why are they not over Donnarumma? Is it because Donnarumma doesn't want them?
I think he wants to go to City instead of them. Is the rumor?
I mean, if City brings in 2 keepers better than Onana in the summer transfer window, and United getting none, that would be.
Well, I think
damning.
if City buy any 2 keepers on the planet, they're going to be 2 better keepers than Onana. So, very doable.
Dark times. Dark times for Red Devil fans.
Yeah, Juve money line, guys. That's what I got. I mean, let's enjoy this Liverpool Arsenal game for sure, but Juve money line's the play.
Yeah.
Is it too early to have a bet of the season?
Never. Come on.
Do we just start the season off with a bang and I finally give out a winner? Juve money line, bet of the year. Bet of the year. That's it. You've heard me say it. It's official. It's stamped.
I'd rather go Como Drano bet, but that's fine. At plus 110.
It's early for a bet of the year, but
sometimes when you start out cold, you got to.
This almost feels like Nick is just trying to get a Juve.
Now, if you hit your bet of the year, is it like a coach's challenge in football?
Yeah, no. If you hit your bet of the year,
then you keep getting bets of the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if I lose this, I don't get another one until 2026. That's the rules.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you.
All right. Well, I guess that's got to be the perfect place to end it, right? Nick's bet of the year, Juve money line minus 115 at Genoa. Lock it in.
115, even better.
Whatever the number was.
If you haven't already watched it, man, the last show we did with Michael Scott from SB Nation over there, the Bayern Munich channel.
Yep.
Man, this dude, I mean, solid hour. He is so fucking knowledgeable about the Bundesliga. Awesome league preview. Just check out all the shit on YouTube. You can go back. Bundesliga preview. We did EPL a few weeks back. Serie A over the course of the summer. A couple good guests, but definitely trying to grow the channel. So if you guys can subscribe, like, share it, really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys next time.